We have officially crossed over into Kentucky. This makes our 6th state that we have traveled through since we left Georgia back in March. Hi, I'm Ron.
And I'm Marie.
10 years ago, we bought a broken down trawler for $4,000.
And nothing worked, not even the kitchen sink.
After a lot of hard work and help from our friends and family, we moved aboard Elixir full time. And now we are cruising this old boat while the work and fun continues.
So subscribe and give us a like and come along with us, cruising this old boat.
It was funny for a while. We weren't sure if we were in Kentucky or Tennessee because we just were traveling right down the state line. That was purely by accident. I just charted out the route the night before and autopilot was on, and autopilot was taking us right down the state line for quite a while. But anyway, we are now officially in Kentucky. We are at the Green Turtle Bay Marina in Grand Rivers, Kentucky. It is day 150 of our trip to Oklahoma, and we have traveled 1,699 miles.
Take me back to the old dirt road where Mama and Papa used to go. Let's sing all them songs from a long time ago and pine for them old days of yore. Well, let me run through the breeze like the leaves on the trees. Let me fly like the leaves when they fall. Well, let my mind go serene like a cool water stream that runs from the...
They have a yard here, a boat yard, and so they are coming over today to look at the damage to our boat and give us an estimate for repairs. We won't be here when we get the claim through the City of Mobile completed, but the City of Mobile requires 2 estimates, so we got to get them along the way and then submit that claim in and see if we can get this boat repaired.
Yeah, it looks like we don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Or dock.
Yeah, everywhere we pull in, that's the side that faces the docks. Everybody sees the damage and goes, ooh, these people don't know what they're doing. Well, it's been almost 3 hours since we pulled out of our slip at Green Turtle Bay Marina, and which is right over there. Ever since we've been sitting right here waiting to get through this lock. It's 93 degrees out and we're not moving, we're just sitting here so we don't get any breeze going through us. But hopefully it looks like they're opening the gates to let the tug come back through and get the barge he left behind. So I assume they're gonna have us go in with him because it's just one barge. So hopefully soon. So this is the first time that we have locked through with a tug, but he only has one barge. He had too many barges for him and the barges to fit in the lock, so he left one barge behind outside, came in with the rest, locked through, left his barges on the other side. He came back in, came up, and went out and got the one barge he left behind. And so since he only has one barge, the lockmaster told us to come on in, and so we could lock through, which was nice because we've been sitting out there for almost 3 hours. very glad he let us through on this go round. When I saw that the tug had left one of the barges behind as he locked through, I kind of assumed that, you know, they were all too long and he left one of them off. I also assumed as he locked through that the initial set of barges he took through, that he had gone and tied them off somewhere to come back and get the barge he left behind. But as they opened the lock doors, there was his barges just sitting right there, block. I mean, they went from wall to wall. They're 3 barges wide, and I mean, they're just right outside the door. So the whole lock is plugged up until he moves them out of here. And the barge he left behind was actually from inside the middle of the first set, you know, that he'd be attached to, the first set of 3. It was the middle one. And so I'm guessing he pulled that out and left it behind so he could snuggle up in the middle where that barge normally sat, to have enough room for him and the barges, the first set that he took through. And so now he's having to plug that hole with this one barge, and it's a tight fit. It's just amazing to watch him maneuver it in. I mean, there's not room on either side because they were all tied tightly together. So they don't mess around in these locks on the river. Down in Florida, the East Coast, you go through a lock, it's kind of like watching the hands on a clock. You stare at it, they never move. And so if you sit there and you look at the wall, you don't see your boat dropping. If you look away, you look back, you realize you've dropped. Over here, nope, they drop you or raise you, whichever way you're going. We're in the Barkley lock, and I got curious, I timed it, and we were dropping 5 feet about every 45 seconds. And you see when you're dropping that fast. Well, I had wondered how they get those barges tied so tightly to each other. We've passed tows going both directions, coming at us, going the same direction at us, and I've looked over, and I mean, it looks like they're using big ropes. And I know from our own dock lines, it's next to impossible to get them super tight. So I've always wondered how they do it, and I'm still not totally sure. But sitting here watching this tug tie everything back up after going through the Barkley lock, I see that they are using big old, like 6 foot long poles in some sort of a winch, and there was one on the barge on either side of the barge the tug pushed into the hole. So obviously whatever they're doing, they're winching it down somehow and making it tight. Again, I don't know if they're using chains or if they're using rope, but they're winching it. We just left the lock chamber, and it's after 12. We pulled out of our slip at 8:30 this morning to go to this lock. It's after 12. We're just now locking through. So in that amount of time, we've traveled a total of 2.9 miles. And today was supposed to be a long day, so it's going to be really long now. And by the way, we are now on the Cumberland River, heading towards the Ohio River. We have entered the Ohio River and are now southbound for the first time in quite a while. And this is a big wide river, and I guess it's not even as big as the Mississippi, but it's pretty big. It's windy out today. Got about 10-mile-an-hour winds coming from the south, so it's ripping right up the river. And Feels like we're back over on the East Coast crossing the Sound. I got used to the smooth waters of the rivers, but this one ain't so smooth today. We have crossed into Illinois. This is our 7th state that we have traveled in on our way to Oklahoma since we left Brunswick, Georgia. We are in Paducah, Kentucky. It is day 152 of our trip to Oklahoma, and we have traveled 1,739 nautical miles. It's pretty interesting. They have this wall behind me that runs around the city for when the river floods. It's to keep the floodwaters from going into the city. And every now and then they have a break where you can get from where the side we're on into the city side, which is where we're headed. But they have the ability to close off the break, and that prevents the city from being flooded. This thing is, it's just a huge wall.
Clearing tears in your eyes at every step of our goodbyes. Pink pearls and a ruffled worn sweater, you left them behind like a love letter. I can make a sentence and nothing makes sense. We had our moments, I relive now, again and again. You were like a solar eclipse on my lips, like hiccups and coughs.
We are waiting on a bus. Paducah has a pretty good bus system. They have 3 lines, the blue line, red line, and yellow line. And they all go to a central station where you can cross from one to the other. So you can get pretty much anywhere you want to by bus. Walmart, you know, all the places you want to go to provision or just be a tourist. You can get to by bus, so it's pretty nice.
Since last week,
Who does that?
girl, you ain't killing me. I know you are better than yourself. You were like a solar eclipse on my lips, like hiccups and coughs, wrecked abortions. My solar eclipse, go off script, give me hiccups and coughs.
So I thought this was really interesting. We're, I don't know, 30 feet up in the air from where the dock is, maybe more. And the platform that I'm standing on is actually a floating dock, as is the next 2 platforms on the way down. Each of these float, so as the river comes up, which it could go up 30, 40, 50 feet sometimes, as it comes up, then these float. So the floating dock comes up, each gangplank to the next level goes up, the little dock area goes up, the whole thing rises up. That's a lot of floating.
The light poles go up. Did you say that?
Uh-uh.
Oh. The light poles go up.
So it's just really It's just unusual to see something this high up in the air that's designed to float when the water level comes up. Thanks for watching.